Good morning, everyone. Today we give recognition to Saint Scholastica, get it right, who was the twin sister of Saint Benedict. It was rather interesting. So whatever endeavor Saint Benedict was involved in, invariably Saint Scholastica was around. She had a similar philosophy to his, and therefore was influential in establishing various religious activities at the time. The first reading of our Mass readings for this week is the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, and it starts off obviously with chapter 1, and we have a look at the first 19 verses. It's basically the first 4 days of a creation story of what God created in that time. And in each of those areas of creativity, at the end of it, it is said the Lord looked at it and it was good. Now, there's always kind of a debate, sort of say, well, the Bible tells us one thing about the way in which the world was created. But if God created everything in the period of 6 days and then the seventh day he rested, that would have been quite quick. Not only that, it does cause some confusion, because if we take the Bible history, the duration of the Old Testament, we add it to the New Testament, it only comes up to about 6,000 years. And so, what about dinosaurs, and what about fossil fuels and all those kinds of things? What about the expansion of the universe? Science and history is showing us there's a lot more than what the Bible tells us. And some people say, well, that you must stick exactly to what the Bible says, because that's what it says we must do. We mustn't change anything. But it's interesting that the Old Testament was written for the people of the time. And to try to explain things like science and evolution and so forth to people at that time would have been pretty much impossible, because they weren't able to relate to it. So it's something that we must acknowledge, is that the church accepts that evolution may have been the way in which the Lord created things, and that the days that we see reflected in the book of Genesis were not 24-hour periods, but were long extended periods of time. We must understand God is not a con artist. He's not trying to fool us into thinking the world is less old than it is. So we put ourselves in his faith, and we'll pick up on this story tomorrow. So you keep yourselves well, and we'll see you again. God bless. Bye-bye.